All right, so Joelle and I just talked about someone named Mark Richards a fair bit. And if you've been following this case, you've been watching that attorney do some pretty swift work in that courtroom. Excellent work, I might add, which is why I am completely delighted that he is now live with me. Mr. Richards, thank you for squeezing us into your busy evening. I hope that your phone isn't blowing up like Joellen's is, but I suspect that it is. I'd like to just ask you right off the bat, first of all, congratulations on your verdict. That's got to have been a good day for you. Were you surprised?
I don't want to say surprised, but after they were out as long as they were, we were definitely scared. We were afraid there might be a compromise. We felt as though we had the facts on our side and the law, and we put forth a good defense, and we were hopeful. But if anybody says we knew what was going to happen, they're full of it.
Well, Counselor, that leads to my next question, and it's a two-part. Did Kyle think that he was going to prison, and did you prep him for that very real possibility?
I'll take the second one first. We did prep him. We told him one way or the other he was going out that door today with a deputy to either come home with us or go to prison for a very long time. And he hugged his family goodbye, his sisters. It was very emotional. He threw up before we walked downstairs to get the verdict. You know, you haven't lived until you've been in that situation. I'm not suggesting I was in the situation he was in, because no matter what happens to my clients, I get to go home at the end of the day. But it was scary.
It's quite a description that you just gave me, which leads me to wonder, what is he doing tonight? Where is he right now?
He's home with his family, where he's been living for quite some time, the last 7-8 months. And I think he's decompressing. We've talked. He came into my office when security got here, and we talked a little bit, but not long, because we knew a lot of people would be showing up here. And he went home, and he's got the weight of the world lifted off his shoulders at this point.
And regarding the security, you mentioned briefly this afternoon that when you signed on to this case, were surprised all of a sudden the death threats started coming in. That is not surprising. I watched trials now for 15 years, and I watched the Zimmerman case where, litigants in that case also faced the same thing. Can you tell me the extent of the threats against you and also the threats against Kyle?
You know, we've all had threats. The prosecutors had threats. I have the police at my house. I quit answering my phone between the Kenosha County Courthouse and my office, which is only about a 17-minute drive. I had 3 death threats. They're now calling my wife's phone. I answered it, and somebody said, stated my correct address and said, "We're coming for you tonight." I think most people who are going to try and kill me aren't going to call me, but it is unsettling. And to think people want to turn this into some sort of sick game, I have a real problem with.
Could you elaborate a little bit on what you said earlier? And that was that you had a question from, I think, someone in the press about the tears that Kyle shed on the stand. There's been much ado about that. One side says crocodile tears. The other side said it showed the real young man. But you mentioned that he's been in counseling, that he has suffered from PTSD, and that he is unable to sleep at night. He seemed to have a sort of an affect on the stand. Can you dig in a little bit more about the person who Kyle is?
Well, there's 2 sides to that, real or fake. One side's right and one side's wrong. And I've known Kyle Rittenhouse for over a year. I've seen him in my office, and I've seen, in preparation for this trial, talking to him and him getting emotional and upset. There were certain topics we really didn't talk about because we knew what was going to happen. The people who tweeted out the stupid things that it was fake, if you've ever seen a panic attack, that was one. And I'm sure they're the same people who are going to say that he was faking it when he just about passed out when the first not guilty was read. I'm not going to change their minds. I know what happened. I know that kid, young man, and it was real. And he was genuinely troubled by the things that happened, and it stayed with him. You know, I'm an insomniac, probably because I'm old. But him and I talked much about how little sleep we get. And, you know, when I was his age, I didn't have any problem sleeping.
Counselor, can you tell me about post-trial? The cameras turn off. We don't get the inside view of what happens after the gavel comes down and the judge clears the courtroom. But I know so often that litigators like you really hope to have a word with the jury just to know what they were thinking. It informs you for your career, for your cases that are still to come. Did you get that opportunity to talk to this jury? And if so, what'd they say?
Did not even attempt to. I would love to talk to one or two of those jurors eventually. They're probably just as stressed out as I am right now. We made, I don't want to say an agreement, but law enforcement was very helpful in security with myself and my client and my co-counsel, Corey Shirafisi, getting in and out of the courthouse. You know, they asked that I not stick around because of the problems that might have happened. And I was more than willing to honor that request. You know, they took Kyle out the back door. We walked out and immediately went down to the secure tunnel, and they took us out. You know, and we got home and made sure nobody was following us. Our security guards have been unbelievable. And, you know, I wish I had one tonight as opposed to they're all with Kyle, but I'll deal with that.
Even though you've had a death threat, somebody who quoted your address and said, tonight, we're coming for you tonight.
Well, that's, you know, why the police, I suspect, are there.
Yeah. So I'm going to play a little inside baseball here. Clearly, I would love to have the first interview with your client, Kyle. I've done legal journalism for 15 years. Here I am selling myself to you. But I've heard that he has secured an interview with Tucker Carlson on Fox News. And the only reason I bring that up is because in this world of polarized media now, it is well known that Fox has been very supportive of Kyle. The MSNBCs and CNNs of the world, maybe not so much. Do you think it's a wise decision to take that interview with Tucker Carlson at this time?
You know, if it was up to me, that may not have happened, but it's not up to me. And, you know, the only thing I told Kyle is he has to be responsible for himself and he has to start making some of his own choices. And the most important word he can learn is no. You know, MSNBC was so unfair to us. Obviously Fox has backed us, you know, and many of the Fox viewers have paid money to help Kyle's defense. So there is a certain allegiance there, I believe. I wish it wasn't so politicized, because, you know, we won today, but that doesn't really mean, you know, like in a sports metaphor, we came out, he's free, he can go about his life. But this case has taken a dramatic toll on him, his family, and all the people who have unfortunately been drawn into it.
Which leads me to this next question. Again, and it sort of has to do with the inside baseball, but on Fox News tonight, they're talking about suing and that Kyle should sue every media outlet that called him a murderer and that said he was a white supremacist and that said he was guilty. And, you know, that's part and parcel of these cases that, you know, the information flows like, you know, a waterfall. But Nick Sandmann, he has come out publicly with a column saying that Kyle should sue all the media outlets that disparaged him and perhaps in some estimation may have even risen to the level of defamation. Have you spoken with Kyle about that, and would you advise him one way or the other with regard to that kind of civil action in the future?
I am not a civil lawyer. I am a criminal lawyer. So I do not advise on topics like that. I can say this, that when I got involved in this case, and there were a couple of other prominent lawyers who were involved and trying to make some calls. And, I said, look, all of your, riches and civil lawsuits are going nowhere if this kid gets found guilty of anything. So let's worry about what's important. And ultimately, no actions were filed by Kyle or on behalf of Kyle while I was representing him. And I can say this, much of the coverage at the beginning was wrong. The trial proved that. But just in the last 2 weeks, people might not believe this, but I watch MSNBC, CNN. I'm not a big Fox guy. And, when I hear Joe Scarborough saying that my client shot his gun 60 times, that's wrong. When I hear some, guest host on the Joy Reid say that my client drove 4 hours to go to a riot with his AR, that's wrong. It's false. And it makes me angry that they can't take the time to at least get the generic basic facts correct. And because it didn't fit in the story that they wanted to tell. And
well, I'll be on the record here, Mark Richards, that you should now put a new network on your TiVo, and that's NewsNation. We're pretty committed to not pulling the bias stuff. And 15, 20, I don't know, give or take, years in covering legal news, I think those things are important. And so for that reason, I'm going to ask you to ask your client to do an interview with me as soon as he's finished with that first one that he said he'd do. I think you would be well served to do a non-biased interview with your client. There are a lot of people who probably should see the sides of Kyle that they maybe don't know. That's just my pitch. One last question to you.
I'd like to thank my team, and the reason I came on here is Joellen told me I had to. And
but Joellen and I go back a long way. So
Corey,
I'm glad she was able to persuade you.
She said I had to, and she meant a lot to the team. She really helped with Kyle's family. My co-counsel, Corey Shirafisi, and when I say co, I mean that he was an equal. And the investigators, Todd and Steve, who worked on the case. A lot of effort went into this case, the experts, and there was no one person was more important than the other. And I think that's the key to this case.
Well, you all really pulled it off. I do have this last question for you. And it comes to me when I listened to you earlier today when you mentioned, you had a comment that I thought really stood out. And you said, I personally don't like people carrying AR-15s around. So I want to craft this question as gently and as respectfully as possible. There is the law in Wisconsin that this jury decided your client was within the law. He perceived to have his life threatened, and he reacted in self-defense. That's the law. Not every state has that. Many don't have the non-duty to retreat. Lots of states are quite different. And then there is the whole notion that two men are dead because one had a plastic bag and then the other one had a skateboard. And so then there is the overall morality of it, which gets people out into the street. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what people feel about the whole notion, is that two men are dead.
He had threatened to kill him. He had threatened to harm others. He directly threatened to kill Kyle. He said, if I get you alone, I will effing kill you. That wasn't just Kyle saying that. That was another individual. And when he saw Kyle alone, they set up an ambush and he went after him. And when Kyle said friendly, friendly, he yelled, and this is on tape, you ain't going to do S mother effer. And, it wasn't the bag. Kyle retreated. He ran from Joseph Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum continued to chase him. And, I've said throughout this, why was Joseph Rosenbaum chasing him? He was going to do grievous harm, if not kill Kyle. The tape showing right there, I see it. And, Kyle was put in a bad position by some bad people. And this is the result, a jury trial 15 months later.
Well, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to, talk through a lot of these elements with me. And I reiterate the request to be able to talk to your client as well. I hope you'll be able to ask him on our behalf if I can interview him next week.
Sounds good.
Mark Richards, thank you. Be well. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.